Hello, once again. I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-hosts on the net. And tonight we are reviewing Skylines. This is the third in the Skylines series of films. Came out this year, 2020. Yeah, can you believe it? That happened. All right, joining me tonight is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore.
Hold on. I think there's an alien in here. No, it's
not. It's behind you. It's wearing a Santa hat.
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing all right.
Sorry, I'm practicing for Skylines 4.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you should direct Skylines 4.
No comment.
Also joining us tonight is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa Thompson. How you doing, Vanessa? In your Santa outfit?
Yes, I came to match Chris's Grogu.
Yeah.
We had to match.
Yeah, so you got all your snowflakes on and
for the season. Yeah, well, I'm gonna say something's got to make me happy about this.
Oh no! All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to give our first impressions of Skyline, and then we're going to talk about it for a little bit, and then we're going to give our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. Yes, we're going to pick 3 favorite scenes from this movie. Has Skyline, the series, wore out its welcome? We're going to find out tonight. All right, what are we talking about? We're talking about Skylines, the sequel we never knew was going to come from the sequel we didn't know was going to come in the first place from a movie that probably shouldn't have arrived. This is available in select theaters, drive-ins, and on-demand and digital starting December 18th. It's directed by Liam O'Donnell, written by him as well. The cast includes Lindsey Morgan, Jonathan Howard, Rhona, Mitra, Alexander Siddig, and James Cosmo. Yeah, James Cosmo. Synopsis is: when a virus threatens to turn Earth-dwelling friendly alien hybrids against humans, Captain Rose Corley must lead a team of elite soldiers on a mission to the aliens' world in order to save what's left of humanity. Vengeance is on the horizon. All right. If you recall, we did review the first 2 films here on H&R, but I don't believe Christopher or Vanessa, either of you, were on those shows. The first one came, it looked like it was going to be good, and it was a very strange, awkward movie that ended on promising a film that was better than the film we got. Then somehow we got a sequel, and it was a better film than the first. It really was. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was good. So now, out of nowhere comes the third one, following the characters from the second, or at least one of the characters from the seconds. We get a lot of discussion about some other ones, and we do get a guest appearance, if you will, of one particular character, the guy from he's in the Raid films. He had the arm. Yeah. So he returns with some amplified appendages.
I wish the movie had been his part.
Yeah, no kidding. All right.
That was the part I enjoyed, him fighting people with like alien arms.
Yeah. So in this film, we're following the daughter, who is now a hybrid of alien and human race, and she's it does a thing. Let's find out what that thing is. We're going to give our first impressions now, starting with Christopher G. Moore. What was your first impression of Skylines?
Skylines. It's a movie. Green screen approved. Well, you know what? I will give him this much. There's a lot of, and you can tell it's made by special effects artists, because there's a lot of special effects in this. Differing levels of special effects. It's definitely it definitely is a it's a cinematic quiche of different elements. It's got everything from like Aliens to Halo to Independence Day to District 9. It's got a little bit of everything, but not enough to really make it taste good. and then like, they can make aliens look realistic, but then they can't do a simple green screen with two people in the back of a vehicle. So yeah, it's, I mean, I give them props because they really try to create some epic big stuff in it, but still it's kind of, at some point you're kind of, you're kind of limited. You hit a ceiling as to how much you can pull off. 1 minute you're really creating really cool aliens and stuff, but then you have like really bad green lens flares, and then a huge monster that's like the version of the thing from what is it? Is it an Alien, when she's inside of that thing where she says, "Get away from me, you bitch," or whatever.
Aliens.
Aliens, yeah. When she's in that, I forgot what those
loader thing, or
a loader thing, except they're in like an alien version of a loader that can suck you into its anus hands. So yeah,
there's a quote for the day: anus hands.
And then they have these really weird creatures that are almost like, almost like the Predator camouflage thing, but more like shimmering blobs of nothingness. I don't know. It's I give them props for trying to create something bigger than what their money can make, but also the acting is like almost like As the World Turns type acting. It turns space opera into soap opera, where everybody's like so intense, like, those aliens are gonna come. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm gonna do about it. I'm gonna do what I always. It's like, oh God, really? Everybody's like on this same level. It gets kind of annoying, and then it's like every once in a while you see somebody pop up. Oh, I know them from Star Trek, and I know them from this thing, and it's like they're really, needing some help here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have the right words to say about it. It's a film. I applaud them for them trying to do something bigger than what they could do, but it's still a little bit of a mess, and it really doesn't go. It doesn't go beyond like a mid-level sci-fi channel movie.
I think you're on to something there.
Yeah, and so it doesn't. I mean, I couldn't. I'd be really mad if I saw this in a theater.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so mad if I just caught it like, on Netflix or some service or whatever, where I could, turn it off. If I don't like certain parts. But I don't know. It's got some really bad fight choreography that just seems too overly choreographed. I mean, it's like there's a part where she's running from him and she does flips for no reason. And I was like, this isn't Circus of the Stars.
Circus of the Stars.
Those people get that reference.
She's acrobatic.
So,
Gotta show off those acrobatic skills.
I don't know. It's yeah. Yep. I think the only thing that I really kind of enjoyed is they translated what these monsters, which just sound like tigers. They translated the monsters, and this one guy was always cursing. That made me laugh because you don't usually see, like, I know that I guess they were previously human or whatever, but yeah, just every time. But then sometimes they would bleep out the F word, and I'm like, I mean, they would put asterisks or something like you're putting on your Facebook profile, and I was like, this isn't a movie. Are they doing that to get a rating? I don't understand. So I don't know. I'll stop talking now. I really don't have a lot to say, as you can tell. I'm rambling like the movie was.
There you go.
Also, when your movie starts with an intro having to explain the last two movies,
yes,
not a good thing.
But what is that? It's a third. Well, okay.
Do you see intros in other films?
Yes, Vanessa.
No, you don't.
What is your first impression of Skylines? No, you don't.
If you use a 3 as an E in your movie title, you already lost me.
There you go.
That's first strike. No, I had a very hard time following this movie. I had a hard time just keeping my attention focused on what was going on in this movie. It was very melodramatic acting, and I just didn't. You never really feel a connection to any of the characters or like care about what's going on, and I don't know. So many things kept happening where I was like, this again, this is happening again, and the way it would cut between very important fight scenes, and it just was so jarring and disjointed at times that it made it very difficult for me to enjoy. Yeah, are they human? Are they not human? Do they have a consciousness that they've adapted from humans? Like, and I mean those questions could be answered if I'd seen the other two, but that's not happening.
That's not happening. You're not gonna do it.
I do have to, give them the respect that's due for the practical effects that they were doing. And you really see that in their kind of blooper reel, which they decided to go with a blooper reel.
They've been doing that. Yeah.
But you see, that a lot of these aliens, our main character aliens, at least, were primarily practical effects. And I always respect that. And I feel like that was really done well. It probably would have worked a lot better if you would have just made them understandable instead of constantly taking me out of whatever was happening by my eyes going like this to a person talking to reading to a person talking to reading. It was just it made it really hard to immerse yourself in this movie and in this world. But I guess we know another one's coming. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
By the way this one ends.
Skyline 4. All right. Well, I will share with you. I've seen all three of the films, and there was a thing. You probably heard the word harvesters a lot. So they would come to Earth, and they're harvesting our brains, and they're putting them inside of other aliens. Sometimes they're batteries. Sometimes they're used as brains. So yeah, they're aliens and humans kind of mixed weirdness, and of course she's actually a hybrid in a different way. She's more of a blend of the two because of her father, who was in the first film. All right, so all that aside, yeah, this movie, even knowing that this movie, it doesn't help, right? Each movie is interesting, and even though it follows a linear path of something, each one has their own approach to how they're tackling this. One's a straight up invasion, one's a battle for freedom, and then this one, of course, is turning the tides back, right? And then, of course, it has this corporate bad guy thing that, which is small spoilers, but is totally. You're gonna get it. The first time you see this guy, it's not gonna be a surprise. And I think, Chris, I was thinking the same thing. Like, this is a really good sci-fi television movie, a sci-fi channel movie. It's really good. The effects are really good. It's it's shot really well, and it's got plenty of action, but you don't give a crap about the characters. You don't have any investment in our Rose character. We can't relate to her. We don't know what she's after. We don't understand her position. So we don't know what the challenge is or what her conflict is. We don't know. She's just in this position. Yeah, right. We're just like thrown into the middle of a comic book story, and it doesn't really work. And then we get a couple of land-based characters or earth-based characters that remain behind as Rose and her group go off to space. And then some weird things are happening there, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's all told to us, but it just doesn't seem to matter, or we don't seem to care. And it wastes great character actors. Who am I thinking of? James Cosmo, who I really like. He's kind of wasted here in a small little role.
Dr. Bashir.
He's not Dr. Bashir, is he?
I'm saying Dr. Bashir. It to me feels like,
yeah.
He's a Siddig from. His last name is Siddig. He's from Deep Space Nine. He was Dr. Bashir in Deep.
Oh, was he? I don't know. I don't from Game of Thrones, so
he's the one. He was the guy you were talking about that turns.
He's our corporate guy.
corporate.
Oh no, that's not who I'm talking about. James Cosmo.
No. I know.
who you're talking
I
about.
know
Oh,
who
yeah,
you're
look, I'm so
Somebody else.
confused. We're having two different
We're
conversations.
just
All right.
confused as this movie.
So yeah. So
talking about waste of character as well.
yeah. He was
He was the only one that I knew with the one she
Really?
saw.
Really?
I didn't really know who the other guy was. Although, who's the woman that's
The knockoff Kate Beckinsale.
That's exactly who she
third
that's
Underworld.
exactly who she is. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the
Underworld.
woman that was with James Cosmos.
The doctor.
No,
Not the girl, but the doctor.
no,
The young girl? The young
no, the woman that was the doctor. Who was the doctor?
Okay. So that's who we're talking about. She was. All right. So the problem is that we can't even we've all seen the movie, and we can't even discuss the characters.
Yeah.
I don't remember names of any of the characters other than Rose. That's the only person I know.
What was
Yeah,
her brother's name? Trent or Travis or something? The alien guy.
Yeah, there was a Trent. Yeah.
All I know is you had the military guy, you had the British guy, you had the doctor.
You had the girl with braids. You got the Asian guy.
Asian
You got
guy.
the alien guy.
Right, and that okay. So that's the problem with this movie, right? We have all these things that. But to answer your question, I'm looking at her. Yeah, Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. She played Sonya, and that's probably.
Oh, okay, that's what I recognize.
She was on Boston Legal for a
She
few.
was Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, when Kate.
Oh,
Kate took
yeah.
over.
At
But
Dollar Store Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, but she's fine. But
I'm a huge Kate Beckinsale fan, so I'm
But
sorry.
You know what she would look really great in if we were talking about remaking some old school Hammer films. She's got a great look to fit into one of those kind of films.
Ooh, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, she would look great in that.
All right. So the aliens, like you said, the main ones look great, and then they have the shadowy ones that flicker in and out, and they fine. They fit their purpose. Then you have like a general alien, and he's got the little tentacle things, and he has
a head over a head.
Head over a head. Yeah. Head on a hat. Was it?
Yeah.
And then you have the tank one that Christopher was talking about, which I liked. Just
it's
because
really bad special effects.
Right, but I don't care. Just so
and by the way, here's my impersonation of her operating it. So what do you? I was like, should she taking a crap? While she? I mean, it's like they couldn't give it some control. She's just basically holding on to the edge of it. It's like,
and that's the point. That's the point. Is that's how, because of her arm, they kept referencing her arm and everything. Because of who she is, she was able to pilot their ships and use their ships. And that's why they,
show it.
They did in the beginning when they had that fight. So,
well, and she had already gone through that whole ceremony thing where the queen gave her full potential.
I don't know. That was stupid. When it showed up, it was like they ran out of money for it was like lower res than the rest of the special effects. It's almost like, our computer's overheated. We're just going to have to use this shot of this monster that looks like you walked out of a Super Nintendo video game.
I don't think it's that bad, but I do.
No, it wasn't that bad. I'm exaggerating. It was a noticeable difference in how it was compared to the other things, because they replace so many things, especially when you watch that blooper reel, you realize they replace all people's legs that are like aliens and stuff. So it's amazing what they were able to pull off on such a low budget, because there's a lot of effect stuff. Although, why you got to make the most complicated ships ever made? What's up with all these jutting things out from it? The ships don't make any sense whatsoever.
Kind of like the whole movie. Why did you have to try to do everything extra? Everything you did, everything was just it felt like such a over the top trope.
It's like a kid trying to show off, like, daddy, watch me do my play for you. And it's, it's like, it's like they're just because you have it's the George Lucas effect. Once you have all the toys that you can play with, doesn't mean you need to play with them. You still need to make sure the structure of your story is good, and you don't necessarily have to show off all your bells and whistles, because at some point, you know, you have too many bells and whistles to deal with, and then it takes away from the structure of your story. You know, you can only wear so much flair on the outside of your body, you know, until you just fall over because you're just overloaded with flair.
Did you just say that if everything's special, nothing is special? Did you just say that?
Yes. Well, that's your interpretation of what I said. I'm just saying that, like, you just can't, you know, it's like if I have a car, instead of just putting like a nice paint job on it, I just put like 10 million Christmas lights and a animatronic elf on the top of it, and then like, you know, elf balls in the back of it, and then maybe like little arms that flap on the sides. At some point, it's like you're just too much. You're just doing too much. You're showing off so much. You're taking away from the basic premise of what you're doing, to where it's just more about showing off than actually trying to make something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I agree with that last statement. All right, I think we should wrap this up. What we're going to do now is we're going to give our final thoughts, our score, and our favorite scene scores 1 to 5. But before we do, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, or to dislike. You know, hey, if you want to do that, do that, and leave us some comments. Did you see all three? Did this one make sense? Hit
the like button?
Yes.
Now.
Oh my gosh. And we also want to take the time to thank our patrons. We do have a patron account. Look for the link down below. And we literally, without the patrons, we would not be doing this. We have not only the Gruesome Magazine podcast, but the H&R podcast you're listening to now. We have Decades of Horror, and of course, Heroes and Droids for all those sci-fi and superhero and action stuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody listed there and more, thank you so much. You're
the backbone of this special effect.
And I do want to stop and pause just for a second here on H&R at this time of year. It's that time of year where Santos Ellen Jr. would always give us a hard time because he would be forced to watch a movie he didn't want to watch, because he'd always go to the theater on his birthday. That was a tradition he had, and for the entire time he was able to join us on H&R, it was Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Hobbits and all these things.
Oh my.
Yes, every single year it was one or the other things. But his birthday would have been the 15th, and we just want to say happy birthday to our dear departed friends and say we miss him very much.
Miss you very much. So
happy birthday, Saint.
Yes, Black Saint. All right, let's do this. We're going to give our final thoughts, our score, favorite scene, and Vanessa, you are up first.
Oh, well, it really does seem like everyone involved in this is having a good time. Everybody seems to be enjoying what they're doing, and that's, you know, very important when you're making a film. The practical effects were great. You know, I really appreciate that, and I applaud that. And I thought the alien design was good. You know, it kind of reminded me. I kept, you know, falling back into the District 9 prawn alien whenever I saw them, especially with the way that they kind of walked and the way they sounded and communicated. But you know, other than that, I thought it was pretty good design. It does very much feel like a Sci-Fi Channel level film. And I don't necessarily think that it's encouraging me to go back and watch the previous two. So there's that. So how do I guess I think I'm gonna have to give this one a 2.25.
Okay.
Yeah. I think 2.25 for it's a movie.
And favorite scene
is when the big tough army guy comes back. You know, he's come back from his mission, and the doctor tech guy comes in and he's running all these tests on him, and he discovers what he's done, and they start to fight in that kind of hospital room. And they're both like have all these like martial arts moves that they're doing, and all I can say the whole time while these two are fighting, I'm like, the other guy can't let the other guy win. He's not even Asian. They're doing all this martial arts fighting, but I think that was just a one of my favorite parts as far as like fight scenes go. But honestly, it was hard to pick.
Not because there were so many, but because you had to find one.
The quality of choices.
You might have to turn in your hat. Christopher Timor, you're up next. What is your final thoughts, your score and favorite scene?
Well, Skylines. There you go. Hopefully they'll make the next one and put 4 instead of a Y. So Vanessa can hate it even more.
That's a good idea.
They'll probably do it.
Like fan 4 stick, Sky 4 lines.
Yeah, Skylined.
Skyliners.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a movie. I give them props from what they're trying to pull off, but then I feel like they try to pull off too much, and in the process of it, I think you have to create some delineation between characters. A lot of your main characters, especially this sort of dollar store version of the A-Team that goes onto the planet, they're all like the same. They're all like acting like they're badass, but then it just comes off as really bad soap opera. I kept expecting them to turn away for no reason and just stare off into space for like 20 minutes, like they do in soap operas, and then you hear like, "As the world destroys" or whatever. Yeah, it really does sadly feel like that middle of the ground Sci-Fi Channel thing that you might see every once in a while, that you might watch a little bit of, but not really be as invested in. And there are parts of it I think are interesting, just how the amount of special effects they have to pull off, how they really try to pull off sort of like that epic nature that you find in like the Alien films or Independence Day and stuff, but it still feels very steeped in CGI, especially when you the part with the loader alien and but it takes a lot of effort to do special effects, so I give them props. Although if you can't pull off I hate picking at them because of the simple green screen thing, but come on, really? They're in a vehicle and you can't pull off a regular green screen, but you can have alien ships that don't really make sense in reality. So yeah, it's a little bit of I think how they talk about like the uncanny valley when it comes to special effects. This is how I feel about this movie. I think it's so steeped in trying to wow us with special effects that it becomes as cold as the space that they travel through. And because of that, I didn't have any investment in anything that happened. Part of the reason because I didn't understand what was happening, even though you give me like a 20-minute or whatever intro that explains the last 2 movies. But then the whole time I'm like, I don't know, what is that, a key? Is that an alien egg? What is that? I don't know what's happening here. But it kind of looks cool. And then the certain parts just made me laugh for no reason, because there's like one part where this alien gets sucked into like the weird energy field and basically gets cut off from here up. And she's like, "Come back to me." Come back to me. And I start laughing because it's like you have like a fifth of a torso. But I guess evidently they have some kind of technology to possibly bring people back from that. But I don't know. I found that to be hilarious for stupid reasons. So yeah, it's a movie. with different levels of special effects and stone-faced acting. Um, So as for
what's that score, sir? What's that score?
as for rating, I give it a 2.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about all I can eke out, and it's being nice, which is scary.
Right.
As for favorite scene, it's not a lot to pick from. All kinds of run together. It kind of all runs together. Although I will say, as a huge fan of the Raid films,
Yes. There you go.
and also he showed up in Force Awakens as well. What's his name? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Yaya Ruhan, who played Rhona. He's like he ends up growing these aliens' hands, and he's fighting people with those alien hands and ripping people apart and stuff.
No.
I was like,
did he grow him? I thought he cut him off of an alien and put him on.
oh, did he?
I think he's wearing like alien hand
You
gloves.
know what? Again, I have no idea what happened in this movie. Did I even watch it? Was it a fever dream? Was it a COVID infection that I don't know I have? I have no idea. I felt like should be called white lines because I felt like I snorted cocaine or did acid and then all this stuff happened. It doesn't make any sense, but it happened. You know what I mean? So I don't know. All I know is he had alien hands. He was cutting people in half.
He had one alien foot too.
Alien foot. He had alien appendages. And if the movie had been about this guy with alien appendages, if it'd been like, sky appendages, I think the movie would have been better. If it just been about him fighting shit in space, cutting people in half. Do that. But that was the highlight for me. And still, I have no idea what I just watched. I don't know if I need to seek psychiatric help because maybe it didn't happen. But I have 2 other people to say it did happen. But then are you here? Maybe you're part of this movie. Maybe we're all skylined together. So anyway, I'll stop.
What kind of lines does Christopher do? Skylines.
Well,
all right. Yeah, you guys are not wrong. I admit the first movie, Skyline, is a guilty pleasure. It is a bad movie that I had a lot of fun with. It just was that. They actually made a good movie with the second one. I thought it has its problems, as you could probably tell, but at the same time, had a good time with it. It was constructed better, and it had a story to it that you probably could follow. And it ended with this incredible tease of what this film would be to promise this one. And unfortunately, this one seems to run out of energy. It follows what the stinger promised, but not in a satisfying way. Unfortunately, I think they just forgot to develop characters we care about. And if it doesn't matter how good the special effects are or how fancy or how many hats you put on a hat, if you don't have characters that you give a crap about, you just aren't going to get interested and excited about it. And I think that's why we're kind of calling it a sci-fi channel movie, is because I think there's a stigma to it. I hate to downplay Sci-Fi channel, but there is a thing to it. But come on, they
have a style.
Sharknado. They did it. They brought Sharknado onto us. Anyway, yes, they have a style, and when you have that, it's a film that it's kind of disposable, right? It's you can pay attention, you can not pay attention. It's noisy and flashy. It'll catch your attention in that respect, but it won't draw you in like a good plot would or a good character would. If we had some kind of way to relate to Rose or any of the characters, I think this could have been a far better film. But it's I don't know. It feels like a really weird, Star Trek or weird sci-fi TV show movie stretched out, and yeah, just doesn't really connect, which is unfortunate because there are things in here that you would appreciate, that you can respect. Special effects, the practical effects, the mix of the practical and the CGI, the stunt work. The stunt work is often good, even if you don't know why she's doing somersaults or whatever. They're doing them very well. Whether it's fight choreography or not is up to debate, but the acrobatics are done well. And yeah, so I'm going to give it a very generous 2.5, and I think I'm being over generous with that. My favorite scene. There's a few things I could choose. None of them are good. But I'm going to go with anus hands. I'm going to go with the creature that suddenly had tentacles come out of the palm of his hand and suck the people in. I don't know. And then it ran and jumped off of like falling rocks and stuff. I don't know. It was just so damn stupid. I kind of thought of it. And then they spit him out later. Right? Then he spit that one out and he was all pissed off and blue. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to shut up.
They should have called it Edward Anus Hands.
Edward Anus Hands. There's Christopher's hidden porn film that nobody will know exists.
Really? You had to go there.
But that's like, no anus hands.
I back out of this. Just
Did you say fisticuffs? No, I did not. All right. Wow, that just like these aliens that turn blue, just like that. All right, that's our review for Skylines. It's available starting December 18th. Will there be a Skyline 4?
probably.
The future is in your hands.
I think we've also been spoiled because Mandalorian, the special effects are so good compared to everything else too.
I don't know. I don't think you could say we're spoiled.
No, I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be something to that. All right, if you saw the film, please let us know down below what you think of it. If you made the film, you can call us names. Go ahead. We deserve it, probably. Just give us some shit.
Just Doc. Just make fun of Doc.
Just do it. I'm here. Just do it. All right, guys. Christopher, Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me and putting up with the selection of films that I throw your way. You guys,
they all can't be winners, You just got to take it with the team. Take it for the team.
Take it with the team. I like that.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm still all Skylined. I'm still
Skyline.
Yeah, I can't get that drug out of my system.
Yeah,
I'm like,
still having nightmares about anus hands. All right, with that, now that that's seared into your brains, and say good night.
Good night.